Hey folks, a very warm welcome and so let's just get started. Let's wait for everyone to join in. I'm just jumping into the live session itself. Okay, so let me just see if everything is working as expected. Yeah, things seem to be looking good. So I'll keep this window open, answer a few questions while everyone joins in for the actual session. Yash basically asks, I'm lagging behind and as a result feeling a little demotivated, sir. How can I stay motivated and not give up? Yash, it's very common problem as we progress through the course. Obviously, some people do lag behind, but that's okay. We see that every time. To be honest with you, this lagging behind, because we track the statistics of all the students. A large portion of our students are lagging behind, and they typically lag behind anywhere from 7 to 15 days, right? But that's okay. Instead of you finishing the course by October first week, you will finish by October last week. Even though you're little lagging behind, that's okay. Make your own schedule, try to catch up if you can. Otherwise, in the worst case, you'll at least stick to that same 3 to 4 hours, consistently every day. It's okay to lag behind. We see a lot of students lagging behind, but even though they're lagging behind, they continue to put in the 3 to 4 hours a day. That way, they will be they'll be slightly delayed in terms of completing all the course content, but still they will surely complete, right? So even if you complete by November end, that's okay, but please don't give up in between. Okay, so Yash is also asking about revising regularly. I'll come to that. I'll give you a strategy that we can all employ, right? Is there a problem with the sound? Okay, let me just change the sound settings a little. Just give me a second. Okay, some people complain that, is this sound better now? Just wanted to make sure. Hopefully this sound, guys, can you confirm if the audio is now clear enough and loud enough? Can somebody confirm that? I just increased the input volume. Can somebody confirm that everything is good? In case there is any problem, do let me know. So this is my typical setting, and I'm hoping, okay, the sound is okay now. Good. Yeah, I'm okay. So yeah, it's good. That's good to know. So thank you so much. Okay, yeah. So we believe that this topic is very important. Where should I practice questions for GATE topic wise, because I'm not mainly using reference book? That's okay. I'll cover all of these in the live sessions, right? So don't worry. So sound is perfectly okay, no issues. Folks, I'm a little early as usual. I try to join at least 4 or 5 minutes early to answer any questions that are there on the chat window. So let's wait for a few more minutes. We'll start at 7:03 p.m. IST sharp, right? So I'm just waiting for everyone to jump in. Okay, any questions, please shoot them in the chat window. I'll take a few more questions before we dive into the session itself. I have my whole session itself. Again, last time some of you suggested us to increase the font size, so this time we've increased the font size. Hopefully you can see everything that's here. I'll go through each of these points in detail and in depth and answer your questions if there is any. Right, so sounds good. So Rohan, you're asking about the test series, right? So we have the test series that we already launched. So those of you who have already enrolled elsewhere but still like our test series, like our focus on practice, could reach out to us on the phone numbers that we have on the website, and you can only subscribe for the test series that we have. That's perfectly possible. I think we launched it a while ago. So just go to our website, you'll find all the details, or else there is a phone number on the website. Feel free to reach out to us, we'll help you there. Okay. Hey, I'm happy to help, Sagar. Thank you very much. It means a lot to us. So somebody is asking about completing the syllabus so that we have enough time to get a good rank. Folks, again, practice and so this question is very good. When should we complete the syllabus? See, different people complete the syllabus at different times, and all of them can get good ranks. It all boils down to how case, ideally by December 1st. Right? You should finish all the subjects, all the notes, revise the notes, do practice tests for every topic by December 1st, because then you have 2 months. In these 2 months, you can just literally take mock tests, practice, revision. So I would ideally recommend you guys, since we have time right now, try to finish it by December 1st. Earlier the better, as usual, right? So somebody is asking about interview prep course. We'll surely plan that also. Please don't worry. When should a first year student start? Good question. So for a first year student, I would actually recommend you study the core subjects that you have, like C, data structures, algorithms, engineering, mathematics well in your first year. I started my GATE preparation after my second year, during the second semester vacation, right? Because then you have 2 years to pick up and be very thorough with it. So that's when, but in your first and second year, become good at programming, become good at data structures and all the core subjects. Right? Please don't ignore them, follow your standard textbooks well. Okay, how to take test series and how much does it cost? Please go to our website. These details are already present, or else there is a phone number on our website. Feel free to reach out to us. We have a test series that we announced, I think, a few weeks back, right? So please don't worry about it. So I'll discuss about the revision strategy itself. Please bear with me. I promise you I'll discuss this extensively with it. So let it be 7:03. It's 7:03. Okay, it's already 7:03. So let's get started, guys. Okay, so let's get started now with the actual strategy itself. I'll come back to taking some of your questions. Right. So this is revision strategy for GATE CSE 2020. These are the core points that I would recommend. Right. See, whether you are attending our classes or some offline classes or some other online classes, doesn't matter. Please make your own running notes. Look at this, you prepare notes when you're watching our videos. You can even pause our videos and write the notes. Okay, after every screen, if you're watching our videos, right? So after every screen that we have, every blackboard that we have on which I write, like this, right, is one chunk. Once you finish that, pause the video, write the notes in your own terminology. And when you're making your own notes, some of you may be comfortable in Hindi, right? Some of you may be it's okay to write your notes in any language of your choice. Okay, it's perfectly okay. Use the diagrams. Again, different people remember things differently. I like to draw diagrams. Okay, when making notes, try to, this is your first notes. There are 2 notes that we prepare. This is your running notes. Draw all the diagrams and try to explain. See, when you're making your first notes, right, my suggestion is this. Suppose you're watching this video, this is the first slide. You watch this slide for, let's say, 10 minutes, right? You watch this slide or this page or this blackboard for 10 minutes. At the end of it, pause it. Whatever you have learned right now, try to write it in your own notes. Okay, when you're writing your notes, try to imagine that there is a hypothetical friend next to you whom you're explaining. Whenever you get stuck, you can always watch this. You can always look at the screen and write your notes. That becomes your first revision. Literally, that's your first revision, right? So making your running notes is your first revision. And remember, when you write your own notes in your own handwriting, it becomes faster for you to revise from that notes later. And you will use terms that you understand. For example, when I write my notes, I use a lot of mathematical symbols like for all, there exists. I try to write in mathematical symbols and I try to draw a lot of diagrams. That's what I prefer. Each of you has their own strategy. And I use lots of these arrow marks and all of these things, right? Each of us have their own strategy. Think of making running notes as your first revision itself. Please don't ignore that. Number 1, right? Number 2, suppose you read or you watched, let's say, 3 hours or 4 hours of content for 6 days in a week. For 6 days, right? So you also, while watching these videos, you have made your running notes. In a classroom, while the faculty is teaching, you write notes. Now you can at least pause and make notes. And don't think of beautiful notes. So beautification is not needed. Beautification of notes is not needed. As long as you can understand it, that's good enough. Please don't try to make some beautiful notes and all of that. Not needed. Whom are you writing these notes for? For yourself. If you can understand these notes, that's good enough. This is your first notes. Second, suppose, let's say you studied a topic or a subject for 6 days. Okay, which means you have studied anywhere from 18 to 24 hours of content, right? Then, and you have also solved a bunch of problems, practice problems, previous year questions that we have solved, all of that stuff. Also a couple of tests that we conducted for you through the week. The most important thing that I recommend is at the end of the week, do a revision of everything that you have learned in that week. Okay, and where do you revise it from? Don't go back to the video. You already have your running notes, right? You wrote these notes. So don't go back to the video and waste time. You already have running notes. Try to revise from these running notes, because this is the notes that you wrote in the language that you understand and the language you are comfortable in. You should revise this 6 days worth of content in about 4 hours or so, 4 to maximum 5 hours. So the weekend, maybe like a Sunday or so, right? A weekly revision from the running notes only. Once you do it, right? Again, I felt this is old school, but when I do it myself, this is a very interesting strategy, because whatever you have learned, by writing it in your own words, right? It's a form of revision. We don't realize it. So at the end of the week, after going through your running notes, make something called as a short notes. What is the objective of short notes? The objective of short notes is, given the short notes, like for a whole subject, okay, a subject might take anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks for you, assuming. And what should you cover in short notes? In short notes, no proofs, right? Just the basic properties of things. Okay, try to write down the basic properties. The summary, think of this as a summary. This is also a short notes. Everyone's short notes will differ. Again, this is while writing second time in the weekend, let's say on a Sunday, right? On a Sunday, when you're writing your short notes, first revise everything that you have written in your running notes and make short notes. When you're making short notes, imagine there is a friend sitting next to you and you make your short notes, should be your short notes. It's like a summary. Okay, for a whole subject, if you have 25-30 pages, of course, there is a lot of key points here. You can revise the whole subject in under 3, maximum 4 hours. This is very important. So what all revisions are happening? You're watching the videos, that's learning, making your running notes. This is first revision, as soon as you watch the video. This is the weekly revision, second revision, and you're also making short notes. Again, these short notes are extremely useful before the exam. Trust me, this will save your life like last 2 months of the exam. I'll tell you how we'll leverage these short notes. These longer running notes, the proper running notes is to revise a whole subject within like under 10 hours. You should be able to revise a whole subject from the long running notes in less than 8 hours. From the short notes, you should be able to revise a whole subject in 3, maximum 4 hours. Again, whatever is discussed in the course videos is good enough to start with. Of course, if there is something missing, we'll keep adding that, and you can also keep adding it to your notes. Third, very important thing, we give you a bunch of practice questions, mock tests, all of those things, right? All the major mistakes that you have done, write them on a separate piece of paper or write it along with your notes. So you have a long form notes, you have short notes, and you also have all the major mistakes that you have written, that you've done on practice questions. Again, these mistakes, revising these mistakes is very important so that you don't repeat the same mistakes again. Okay, write down exactly what mistake did you do. Okay, some of you can even stick it to a wall or a desktop while put on your desktop, especially if you're taking more tests of the same subject. But please write down the mistakes. So you have what, 3 notes now? 1 running notes, 1 short notes, 1 notes of all the mistakes that you have done. Again, this is not very hard. This is very easy. Running notes, some people say I'm spending too much time running notes. No, in a classroom, the faculty explains something and you start writing your running notes. You literally write it almost in live. Here, you can't ask the faculty to stop. In a video, in an online video, you can pause the video and write the notes quickly. Don't look for beautification. Nobody will give you points for beautified notes. Okay, try to cover everything in the terminology that you're comfortable in. That's the most important aspect, right? So you have 3 notes now: the proper full-fledged running notes, the short notes, and the mistakes notes. Okay, first 3 steps. Let's go to the next steps. Okay, so one other small announcement in between. So all the GATE previous year questions, right, subject wise previous year questions, we are creating tests right now on our platform, right? We have an online testing platform which looks very similar to GATE, right? So all the questions that we have not covered as part of our course, in our course we covered a lot of previous year questions, right? Either as solved problems or as practice problems, we have covered many of them. All the questions that we have not yet covered, we are creating tests that any student, not necessarily only our students, even students who are not registered for our courses can also take these tests. And what is important here is you get the interface just like GATE. You get the interface, the online interface, right? We'll give you an online interface which is very similar to the GATE test, which consists of a bunch of previous year questions. For our students, these are questions which are not yet covered in our course, either in solved problems or practice problems. For students who are not our course registrants also, we'll give this free of cost. Okay, this will be live soon on our website. And what we'll do is these tests will be timed. All these tests will be timed. What do I mean by timed? For a 1 mark question, you get 1.8 minutes. And a 2 mark question, you get 3.6 minutes roughly. Okay, we'll try to at least have 30 to 40 questions per subject. Okay, preferably more if you have more questions, right? So these will help you understand the website interface on which you'll write gate. This will also force you towards getting the timing right, right? So when you're solving these problems, all the mistakes that you do, as soon as the test is over, please go back, and I strongly recommend you make these notes, right? I talked about the mistakes notes, right? So whatever major mistakes you're doing, please write them in a mistakes notes. And whenever you're revising, okay, there are two types of revision. One is you have your notes, you just read it like this. Second is you read it, keep a rough paper and write down all the key points on a rough paper. Again, you need not write it very precisely, right? So always try to maintain some rough notes next to you while you're revising, either from your full notes or from your short notes. Doesn't matter. But if there's a major equation here, write this down. Writing it down certainly helps you. This might feel old school, but this helps you immensely. I still do it today. Whenever I learn a new concept, I make my long notes, my short notes, and I revise it. A very, very common mistake that we see people doing, especially at this point of gate. Please don't do this mistake. Breadth of the content is very, very important. Gate is hard not because of the depth. Gate is hard because you have literally 14 to 15 subjects that you have to cover. There is a lot of breadth to cover in gate. By the time you start learning compiler design, you might get confused with some concepts in databases, right? Because there's so many concepts that you have to learn, right? The hardness of gate is because of the breadth of syllabus, not the depth. I see some people who go towards unnecessary depth. See, if you really want to go deep into a subject, first please get the breadth, crack gate, go to a top institute, and there you can go as deep as you want. You can do your masters, you can also go do your PhD, nobody stops you. But before the exam, going towards unnecessary depth, I strongly recommend against it, especially from now on. Whatever is covered is pretty healthy. Whatever we have covered as part of our coursework is pretty healthy. There are a couple of small concepts that may be missing, but we'll surely add them, right? But please don't go too deep into a concept, because that way you might end up spending, instead of spending 2 days on a subject, right? Or on a subtopic, you're going to spend 7 days on a subtopic. And this subtopic might just give you less than 1 mark, right? You have to optimize your learning strategy also now. Okay, so this is not just about revision strategy, this is also about learning strategy. Very, very importantly, please try to follow the schedule we give you. In case you are lagging behind, as some of you have, we track all the data. We do see some students who are lagging behind, but they catch up. But they do catch up. Again, some of them, there are genuine reasons for lagging behind. They have some office project which they were busy at, or students have placements. I completely understand. But set your own target. Again, this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Set your own targets. Okay, say, okay, morning 6 to 8, I'm going to study. Night 8 to 11, I'm going to study. Fix these times. Please be disciplined. If you're not disciplined, even God can't save you enough. We are inching closer to the exam, and you have to get damn serious about your schedule. These times, no smartphone, no worries, just focus on it. Have your own schedule, that's okay. And some of you who are lagging behind schedule, if you need help, please do call us. We will try and help you get your schedule on track. We want to help you, right? So that's something that I strongly recommend. Again, there are some more issues about discipline. Again, doing something for 1 day or 2 days is easy. Okay, you might say, okay, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. every day and work till 10 a.m. and then I'll go to office. Doing it for 1 day or 2 days is easy. Doing it for 6 months is not easy. Okay, I have been almost doing this for a couple of years now. Okay, since we all started Applied AI course. This is my schedule. Again, each of our teammates has a different schedule, because some of them prefer to work at night, right? So some of us prefer to work early in the morning. I prefer to work early in the morning because I'm much more fresh. Doing this 1 or 2 days is very easy. And if I stop doing this for maybe 3 or 4 days, that's it. My schedule is gone. Look at this. If I get little lazy and if I stop doing this for 3 or 4 days, that's it. The whole hard work has gone. So discipline. Okay. So very, very importantly, these are some other common mistakes that students do, which is please don't neglect aptitude. you will get 8 to 10 marks in aptitude. I've seen a lot of people think aptitude is very easy, I can simply ignore that. If you're aiming for a decent rank, anywhere less than 300 rank, you can't mess up aptitude. I've seen brilliant students who have done very well in the core mathematics and core system subjects who messed up in aptitude because they did not prepare it, and their rank literally went to 800 plus. If they just did aptitude 8 to 10 marks, dude, I mean that's a lot of marks. You mess up a couple of questions here, it can shoot you from, let's say, 300 400 rank to 500 600 ranks easily, right? Please don't neglect these easy subjects which are very easy to score. Again, if you're starting some of your preparation, please give importance to subject where you can score maximum marks. Again, we've done a live session on this, on the order in which, so we have taken each subject and discussed which subjects are easy to score marks in, which subjects are harder to score marks in. For example, TOC compiler design, extremely easy to score marks in, very easy, right? Very easy subject. So we have given that order in one of our previous live case studies. In one of our previous live sessions. Please go through that. If you're starting your preparation now, or if you're in the early stages, please give more importance to subject where you can score more marks. Like aptitude is one subject, right? TOC compiler design is one subject, or two subjects, whatever you call it. So this is, again, your learning strategy should be based on these simple ideas. Again, now coming back to the revision itself. So before you go to the exam, right, you should have revised at least 6 times. That's what we strongly recommend. Okay, your own notes, whether it is long form notes or short notes, whether you are doing it through your running notes, right, or so you should, running notes or short notes, doesn't matter, because the contents are the same. So your running note, short notes plus mistakes notes, right? We strongly recommend that you at least revise it 6+ times. I'll tell you a simple strategy to revise at least 4 times. Let me tell you a very simple strategy. Look at this strategy. If you finish by December 1st, all the subjects, you have the running notes, you have the short notes, you have the mistakes notes, let's say. Okay, by December 1st, literally 2 months before the exam, right? So look at this, every day. So you have what? You have 2 months, right? You have 2 months. Let's break it up into 4 into 15 days. 2 months, I'll break it into 4 into 15 days, right? These 15 days, even if you break down the subjects, again, we don't have 15 subjects. Again, depending on how you count, different universities have different, some universities have TOC CD in one subject, some universities have it at 2 subjects, depending on the university, right? But broadly speaking, in 15 days, you should finish 1 revision. Or you might say, how can I finish a revision of all the subjects in 15 days? Look at this, you take your short notes and your mistakes notes, right? Don't go through your running notes. Running notes is much more lengthy. What did I suggest? I suggested you make short notes such that you can revise it in 3 to 4 hours. Again, mistakes also 1 hour maximum. So within 3 to 4 hours, if you spend a day, you can revise 1 subject. And along with revision of a subject, also practice questions in that subject and start taking mock tests from various resources. Again, we'll also have mock tests probably before, even prior to December 1st itself, right? So you can easily do 4 revisions just in the 2 months before the exam itself. And you can only do it if you have short notes and mistakes notes. If you don't have them, you cannot do it. From the long form running notes, if you revise from this will take 7 to 8 hours per subject. Then you don't have time to practice questions in that subject. Last 2 months, every day, my suggestion is this, every day, let's assume this is my day. Okay, morning hours, revise using your short notes and mistakes notes. Afternoon, just take a test. Just solve about 40 to 50 problems at least from that subject. At least 40 to 50 problems from that subject. If you can do 65 marks, if you can do 65, roughly about 65 questions, or the equivalent of 100 marks, the equivalent of 100 marks of GATE, right? It should simulate taking a test a day. This test can be a mock test or a subject test, right? The more, again, in 2 months, you can literally become a beast. Okay, because you've revised a subject 4 times, even if I wake you up in the middle of the night, you'll be able to explain me a concept. That's where we want you to reach. And the mistakes notes keep telling you what mistakes not to commit in the exam. And the practice test, again, mornings is revision, afternoons is test. Revision test, revision test, revision test. Of course, from December 1st, you guys should plan to at least spend 6 hours on this. At least 6 hours. Morning 3 hours, evening 3 hours. Because we're getting closer to the exam, we have to start getting serious about it, right? Again, keep practicing, because your mistakes notes will only improve as you practice more and more, as you keep getting more errors. Again, keep your short notes and mistakes notes very, very succinct and crisp. You should be able to revise this whole, both your short notes and mistakes notes, in under 4 hours. Okay, so this is the strategy that we strongly recommend. Again, GATE is hard because there are so many subjects. There is so much content. Very, very easy to forget concepts. GATE is not hard because the problems are hard. Please understand that. Right? I'll share this whole document with all of you so that you can go through it even after this session. I hope you guys got the essence of what you're trying to convey. There are a couple of don'ts. Let me also tell you those don'ts, because these are important aspects of learning. So for example, I've seen a lot of people. They sit for 2 days continuously. They put in like 4 hours, 5 hours, and then they neglect the course for 10 days. Consistency, folks, consistency. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay, you will not become a topper by just working for 2 days in 10 days. Every day you have to put in the effort. Okay, and try to break your time into 90-minute chunks. These 90 minutes, unless something is urgent, please don't get up from your desk. Don't open YouTube, don't open anything. Please put your smartphone on silent. Don't look at the screen, nothing. 90 minutes, sit down and say, in these 90 minutes, I'm going to learn this 60 minutes of content. You can actually do that. In 60 minutes of content plus long form notes or running notes, you can do it in 90 minutes. We do that in a classroom session, right? A professor writes some notes on the board. He or she explains. That's what we do. Right? Even in our videos, I try to write everything. There are only few things that I pre-draw because they take a lot of time. 90% of the content that I teach, I write it down while explaining it to you step by step, which means you can actually make your running notes. For a 60-minute video, you can finish it in 90 minutes, including the running notes. Okay, not the short form notes, but the running notes. Okay, okay. Of course, we try to answer every question that students send us, but that's not helpful, because the answer that I'll give you, you can Google search for it and find the answer, right? What we want from your side is take the question, okay? Send us the question, but also on a white paper or on your notebook, try to solve the question and say, okay, I'm stuck here. Just write down stuck here. I'm stuck here. I tried this approach, I got stuck. Now, by looking at your approach, we know what conceptual roadblocks you have. So we can guide you better by looking at your attempt, because we know what you're lacking. Okay, just taking a screenshot of a question from a previous GATE question or something, I can give you a solution. You can also Google search for it and find it. How beneficial is that to you? Not at all. So we want to see you take a shot at the question. See, by giving us this information, we know where you have a block, what you're not able to, what is stopping you from solving the problem. This helps you, guide you better, and the feedback that we give you is also constructive. Okay, this, you know how to get unstuck from this, right? By just taking a screenshot of a question and sending it to us, we'll give you a very generic answer, which you can also Google search. Of course, we try to explain it better than other resources, but still, if you give us this, and if you don't understand our answer, we can call you. We know exactly where you're stuck. So we strongly recommend the students of our course to not just take screenshots and send it to us, because that will not help you much. We want to see your solution. Just spend 10 minutes on it. Spend 10 to 15 minutes trying to solve the problem. Write it on your notes. Take a photograph with your smartphone, send it to us, and just write, I'm stuck here. I couldn't go further. We will give you constructive feedback on how to get yourself unstuck. And this will help you actually. This will help you enormously as compared to a generic answer that we give you. Right? Please understand that. Again, if you're stuck with a question, spend 10 to 15 minutes on it. Don't waste the whole day on it. Move on. Tackle that problem little later. Okay? Don't keep getting stuck. This is one point that some of our students have told us. The final year students have placements. Okay? Please don't panic. It's okay. The preparation that you're doing for your GATE will help you enormously for your placements. Like when I was in BTech, right? Of course, I studied in a very small engineering college. We had the standard services companies like Infi, TCS, etc. Of course, for aptitude in GATE. So now if you have placements, try to finish aptitude, C, data structures, algorithms, DBMS, and if you have time, some companies might cover concepts in operating systems like semaphores or basics of computer networks, but they mostly focus on aptitude, C, data structures, algorithms, and SQL. Okay, try to cover these subjects. We already have all of them as part of our course right now. Just try to cover them before. Again, GATE is harder than most services companies. GATE is way, way harder than most services companies. So if you prepare for GATE for these 4 subjects, placements, especially at services companies, even some product-based companies should be a cakewalk. Okay, of course, top-notch product-based companies will be harder. Okay, so I hope this whole session gave you some idea on, again, I'll share this whole revision strategy. I hope this revision strategy helps you get a better understanding and better. I hope each of you will have a different strategy. We want you to use this strategy that we suggested as a starting point. Write down your own strategy from this, right? So try to see what, let's try to get as much done as fast as possible, right? So sounds good. So where are we? Somebody's asking about GATE notes, right? Yeah, guys, to be honest with you, writing your own notes is important, but we do understand we are writing notes for our students now. Again, there is no point in it because I don't need a GATE rank now. Okay, I strongly recommend, sorry, this point, right? This point. We are writing notes for our course. We'll share it with you as soon as possible. Again, literally writing notes again for everything from scratch is taking us time, because there are so many subjects that we are covering. So we are working on it. We'll give you as fast as possible, but writing your own notes is always beneficial, because you write it because our notes was written to be exhaustive, correct, for ourselves. It was not written for you specifically. I strongly recommend you still write your notes. Okay. If I were a student of GATE, of applied course today, I would write my own notes, to be very, very honest with you. Okay. So sounds good. Okay, sounds good then. Okay, I hope all of you got some good idea, and I'll share this document with you so that you can reuse this, and any suggestions, any queries, please shoot an email to us, and we'll try to get back to you, right? My suggestion, so revision once a week. Everything that you learnt in that subject, revise it in the week. Again, if you recall, what we do for our students is, after a subject is over, let's assume we spend 2 weeks covering a subject, we give you a couple of days, right? These couple of days are meant to revise the whole subject again and to do a couple of subject tests, right? So weekend, use it for revision, and your short notes making is a form of revision. Please understand that. Okay, sounds good, folks. Don't worry about it, and I hope things should go well for all of you. Please do share your strategies. Any questions you have, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining the live session.